Moika caught him with his pants down. What an absolutely awkward scene. I mean, if Moika doesn't think their relationship's going in a interesting direction at that point, I don't know what's going to tip them off. But yeah, episode 22 of Danger My Heart, honestly, another kind of pretty mellow episode. I think most of this episode is really kind of just focusing on introducing a new class of students. It seems like at least like half of this class has moved over, and the other half is pretty much all new people. And yes, so we got to meet, Kankan and Hanzawa, which Hanzawa so far seems to be a pretty interesting character. It seems like all indications of this episode are new characters here anyways. Kankan is like super hyper focused on meddling. This is a girl that likes to know when people are in love. That way they can have these massive celebrations. But from Hanzawa's perspective, it seems to indicate that she, one, wants to know what love is, but additionally, she seems pretty broken up about the idea of being public with this kind of stuff. Because what she points out to Kankan is that this couple from their previous year, they were into each other, so they had a massive celebration because Kankan wanted it, and then seemingly some point during the break, they broke up. And it seems like Hanzawa thinks that they're at fault. Like, is it wrong to celebrate this stuff? Is it wrong to be public about relationships? What is love itself? And yes, did we cause a problem? Did we cause them to break up? That's what she's afraid of. So it makes sense why she's keeping everything a secret. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting little thing they're kind of throwing in there. So interested to see where they're going with that. But I don't know. It seemed like a great introduction to two new characters that really do see love differently, but at the same time doesn't really add too much to the mix so far. We'll see how things go from here. But yeah, new year, new class. They are in third years now. And yeah, as we all predicted, everybody's in the same class together. But it's not, it's one of those cool things is like typically with these sorts of things, it's like everybody ends up in the same class by some random miracle. You might have one person isn't included, Adachi. But I do like the fact that they rehashed up the mindset that the teachers have. I think at some point in the first season, there was an indication that the teachers were concerned for Ichikawa. And I think what they sort of seen was that Ichikawa is getting close to Yamada and all of Yamada's friends. And it has helped him. He is doing better now. Now, it obviously also indicates that Adachi wasn't helping because they didn't include Adachi in this. But the teachers have at least seen that Ichikawa is doing better. And especially the teacher himself, because I think especially with the whole situation with him doing the speech, it was Yamada's friends and Yamada that pushed him forward. They helped him. They supported him. And so, yes, if the teachers have a concern about Ichikawa's well-being, they see that he's in a dark place. He's secluding himself. He's not wanting to be with the other kids. He's reading murder mystery novels, and he's cackling by himself. They obviously see that this group of friends is doing something good for him. So yes, it looks like they pulled strings in order to keep him in the same class. Now, in the anime, they sort of, at least the translation, they sort of worded it as the idea that the teacher comes out and says, hey, Ichikawa, what's going on? Oh, no, nothing. I just think that you pulled strings. He obviously knows that the teacher did something. In the manga, it's sort of, I don't know, it's like worded in a way of like, if you care for people, you would do something like that. And I think it's sort of indicating the idea that he was doing that for them. Not so much that they know that it's for Ichikawa. But yes, as we're kind of seeing as Ichikawa leaves, yes, he's like, see, boss, he's doing okay. Again, it seems like this teacher, and I think it's the principal, they're concerned for Ichikawa, and they're doing this for him, which is, again, really, really cool. But yeah, I loved everything leading out to that. Moika's like, oh, you're in the same class as Moi. Moika, you're in my class. Aren't you happy? I love the girl. She's so cute. And then, yes, Chi being upset because she doesn't even see her name up there. She's freaking out and bouncing around, and that's why they had to go to the teacher. And yes, technically you had Yoshida. She's trying to act like she's not in their class, but no, she actually is. Oh, yeah, your name's next to Yamada's, so I'd seen your name too. It was really cute. And it is kind of interesting to have a case where they don't figure that out before they get to class, because typically with most stories like this, they're out in front of the billboard and they have to figure out who's who when they're there. But no, we wanted to kind of drag it out, which ended up being pretty cool because, yes, we had like this really cool segment with the music and the sound effects to have where Ichikawa is, his heart's beating. You hear that little thumping noise because he's going towards the class and he's afraid that Yamada's not going to be on the other side of the door. And she's equally inside going, I'm already here, and hoping that he walks to that door. is super cute. And yeah, she freaks out and runs out there and then tries to pass it off that she was going to this other girl. And they're like, yeah, that's not working. Oh yeah, she's really clingy to people, even boys, and starts rubbing some other boys' back. No, stop that. It's super cute. Yeah, seeing Yamada kind of run up there and crouch next to this desk is super cute. But yes, that gets into the gift scene, the wallet chain gift, which unfortunately they skipped a sub-chapter around this, is that Ichikawa, now that he has this wallet chain, he's in his house, and his mom and Kana are both making fun of him, like, oh, look at you trying to be all stylish and everything. He's like, well, a model picked this out for me. And he actually goes out and he starts to like show it off. And he goes to this market, and a gyaru is outside of the market, and she runs up and starts going, ooh, that's pretty cool. And then takes his wallet out and starts taking money out of it. And he's like, wait, this is a shake-up. It's super cute. And then yes, Kana, I think it was Kana, sent Yamada a picture of it. So super, super cute. But no, yes, her giving the chain to him, he immediately thinks it's a necklace. And it looked like some sort of dog chain or something like that. So I thought she was getting like a dog collar for him. But no, it ends up being a wallet chain. And then yes, somebody walks in and they hide underneath the teacher's podium. Oh, that was such a good little shot there. We've had a couple like this, but that was easily one of the most spicy shots. But yes, Kankan and Hanzawa are wondering if they're possibly a thing. And Moika doesn't want to tell him. And so they eventually go to leave. And that's when we find out about the fact of the celebration for the other students. And they go to leave. And then, yes, Moika comes back right as Ichikawa comes up and pulls his pants down. What an embarrassing shot. And yeah, Adachi later on asked if he's seen any pantsu. He's like, no, I showed everybody my pantsu, though. That was, again, very, very spicy. But no, I love the little segment in there because Yamada almost prods him for that confession. Are we dating? That's what they're wondering. And again, it's kind of almost prodding Ichikawa because he misunderstands it as she's saying, you know, we're dating. This episode really does feel like they're getting into the realm of trying to push an actual confession. Because what I was kind of wondering in the previous episode was what direction we're going to be going for these final 3 episodes. And my thought process then was, oh, we're going to get into how he's affecting her actual work life. But no, now that we're going back into school again, it's kind of pulling away from that again. But it seems like the direction they're kind of aiming it towards, based on having these new characters introduced, is pushing them to have a confession. Because yes, by all accounts, Yamada has said, in every way, shape, or form, I love you, Ichikawa. In every way, shape, or form, Ichikawa has said, I love you, Yamada. It's just they haven't dated yet. They're not dating yet. Which, yes, technically was indicated in the last episode that Moeka says it's fine that they have a relationship. They just need to be dating. So everything kind of is lining up at this point. You need to start dating. And in this episode, with the introduction of Hanzawa and Kankan, I hate saying that name. I want to say Kansaki for some reason. Kankan wants to celebrate relationships, and Hanzawa wants to hide relationships. And in the middle, Ichikawa's saying, I need to say something before somebody else says it. Obviously, Hanzawa knows now, and he was afraid she was going to say something, and he almost wanted to say it before then. Now Kankan's still watching them, and I think eventually he's going to see it. We'll see. We'll see. But I think that's, yeah, I would assume that that's hopefully what we get in the next 2 episodes is that actual confession. Let's cement this finally. But yeah, we get a brief moment with Adachi talking about how, you know, he's got to report everything to him. He's got all the hottest girls in his class, and he's jealous. And yes, Ichikawa kind of admitting to him that he is close to Yamada, and he assumes that's because he sees Adachi as a friend. Adachi, for the most part, we've always had as being pretty much the perv guy. He's constantly making rude comments about Yamada or whatever, and Ichikawa's always angry about it, like, shut your mouth, like, don't be saying things like that. But yeah, technically over time, he has sort of formed a bond with Adachi. And yes, that is through, like, just circumstances. It's not like he ever went out of his way to be with Adachi. It just kind of always happened. And I think this is kind of that point. And I think it helped a lot with the idea of the whole Valentine's thing, the White Day thing with Adachi, that he sort of, I guess, gained some sort of trust with Adachi. But yeah, I think right here he's kind of trying to admit to himself that, yeah, he's kind of formed somewhat of a bond with him. But yes, back to the library. It has been a long time since we've been in the library. And the moment that they popped up in there, I was like, oh, wow, they're actually going there. Him testing out how tall he is, getting to the top upper books, which I guess is a really good sign. I mean, yes, technically this is the first day of the next year, so that is partly why he's been away from it for a long time. But yes, he's like trying to test out his new height, And that goes into a conversation about height itself and growth. And yes, I love Yamada getting all super excited about his 5 centimeters. Oh, well, I grew 15 centimeters in 5th grade. You probably shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, she wants to make some sort of way of cataloging their height itself. And so she thinks of the most mischievous thing to do, which is to actually mark the walls of a public library. And actually decides to do it behind the bookshelf, which is cute because it gets into that conversation again about growth. About, okay, is your voice still changing? Which she's mentioned previously. When his voice was first changing, she was excited for it. Also jealous in the idea of how boys get to have all these changes to them and their voices and everything like that. It's exciting. It's exciting to her to see that growth and that growing up because she herself wants to grow as well. But yes, marking down her name as Anna rather than Yamada because she put Kyo, and that completely embarrasses her. Like the moment she sees that, her face just lights up and she's just kind of twirling over into the curtains. That was super cute. And then yes, technically him making a very misunderstood comment about wanting to be closer to her physically, like height. Yeah, okay, yeah, height. Yeah, sure, I do too. Come over here. Hug him in there. And it goes, no, I meant by height. Oh, okay. Hanzawa shows up. And this is really great because it had that whole moment where Ichikawa's essentially trying to express himself, but obviously being cut off by her showing up. But again, this is where I was talking about earlier, where it seems like something is pushing Ichikawa that we're going to eventually get caught. And I don't want others to announce it. I want to announce it. I want to be the one to tell Yamada that I love her rather than somebody else say, oh, they're actually a thing. Because by all accounts, Ichikawa and Yamada are together by everything but actually saying it. And that's the annoying thing. And so he wants to say it. He just can't seem to get it out. But yes, keeps getting interrupted by Hanzawa. The curtain keeps blowing and she's getting closer and closer. I think at first she's like, oh, she must not be the romance type. She must not even care at all. And then she ends up closer when the curtain blows again. And then she goes to run away and she's stumbling to literally everything. Like she does this whole moe act where she has to bump into every table, every wall, every doorway. I thought it was super cute. But yeah, he's afraid that Hanzawa is going to tell essentially the one that wants to celebrate all relationships. She ends up helping Yamada get the same desk location as Ichikawa. He's trying to push it away, trying to make sure that nobody thinks they're in a relationship. And then, yeah, because she left her book behind, Yamada wants to return it. He notices it, and there's a letter in it from Yamada. This letter, this letter was so freaking good. And there's like a little tidbit in there that I thought was super cute. She literally says to Hanzawa in this letter, I want to clear up this misunderstanding. We're close, but we're not going out as of April 10th. I like how she literally specifies, as of this date, we're not going out, which is basically saying April 11th, we may be. She's literally saying, I'm opening the door to it. And yes, technically towards later on, it sort of implies that she's saying that she's going to do something, but he doesn't read it because he's a good boy, even though he's reading it now. And he's reading more than he should read. But that wasn't the thing that she wanted to clear up to Hanzawa. She specifically is trying to make sure Hanzawa knows Ichikawa is a shy person. I have been working really hard. He is always thinking about me. Wait, scratch that out. Others, to the point where it's hard to watch. I love that little like note there, right there. She wrote me. He's always thinking about me. But then she gets embarrassed and crosses it out and says, others, other people. When we get close, he draws away like a cat. I have spent a long time trying to get close to him, and he's important to me. So please, you don't need to worry about me, but please let us be. Please don't make this public. I see what you're seeing here. It's not a relationship, but I don't want you to start telling everybody, and that drives us apart. Because she knows full well, Yamada knows full well, that Ichikawa doesn't want people to publicly know they're together. She's trying to create that barrier in that distance, even though she's failing at it miserably and constantly coming to him. She knows that he is uncomfortable with them being close to each other in public. And yes, I think she fully well knows, and he knows full well, that the reason for that is because she is this model, and if anybody knows they're in a relationship, it's going to cause problems between the two of them. But it's interesting that it never is, from Yamada's side anyways, and again, we don't get any inner perspective of her. From Yamada's side, it's always for the sake of Ichikawa. She doesn't want to get close to him in public because Ichikawa doesn't want that. I think if he said, let's be public about it, I think she'd be all for it. She doesn't, it's seemingly like she doesn't either care about her career or she doesn't think it's important enough. but she doesn't seem to have the same caution that he does. Now, yes, from Ichikawa's perspective, he just doesn't think that she realizes how detrimental that'll be. I mean, even the manager knows. I think Ichikawa and the manager are on the same wavelength here, her producer, knowing that their relationship will cause problems for her. But I think there's that element of, I don't think she puts that above Ichikawa. Ichikawa, her career, mother, family, everything else. Now, I won't say that she's seeing that he's more important than her family, but right now in her eyes, Ichikawa is the most important person to me. I don't care what else, anything else happens. So it's very interesting in that letter, like I said, it's one, opening the door to the relationship and dating. Soon, I might one day. But additionally, it's not putting in perspective here of, I'm worried about people knowing about our relationship. It's, I'm worried about driving Ichikawa away. Please, he's shy. I've tried really hard to get close to him. Please don't break this for me. I've worked really hard to get close to him. And yes, we've seen that entire journey, the entire journey of her trying to stop him and stop running away. He's like a cat and he keeps running away from me. And I finally got him to stay next to me and he doesn't push me away anymore. Please don't break that. That letter was so telling. That letter was so freaking telling. I loved it to death. But yeah, and then that cuts to Hanzawa in the library. And apparently it seems like she had read the letter. She apologized to Yamada. And then, yes, kind of points out again that she wants to know about love. And additionally, she's unsure about why you're not supposed to celebrate it and have it in public. Because I think the moment that she wrote that or read that letter, she was at the time going, wait, we did that with them last year. This couple from our class, we celebrated their relationship and now they're broken up. And now you're telling me, don't tell anybody. Is there a reason why it shouldn't be public? Is there a reason you shouldn't celebrate it? Did we cause them problems? Is that just like a passing joke? Is that a passing comment? Or is that going to be what Hanzawa's really struggling with? Does she really feel bad about the fact that they may have ruined that relationship? It'll be interesting if that kind of comes up again. And yes, Yamada goes, I'll teach you everything about it. I won't have it and runs away. You got to worry about how close you are to people. Why? None. Yamada just wants to be next to everybody, wants to cuddle with everybody. She just has no barriers. But yeah, super cool episode though. Again, I do feel like a little bit of a letdown because it was a lot of introductions of characters and kind of getting resettled with the new class. But I just have a feeling that, again, these next two episodes, I'm hoping we get that point. Now, granted, like always, take whatever time they need. These two just be happy together kind of moment. And I'm sure whatever else they give us for the next two episodes will be great. But I really kind of hope at this point that we get a nice confession by the end of these two episodes. But we'll see, and I'll be here for it. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what's all the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button is good my content. And news, reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's premature. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips, links, everything, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. And y'all take care.